Welcome back to the very final video of the Soleil Royal, where we do a bit of a unveiling, closer look, a bit of a review of the kit. It's been a long journey. Started it in March 22, so it's been about 2.25 years or something like that, so it's been a long time. Before this I built plastic kits for 40 odd years. This is my first wooden ship, and in hindsight I probably wouldn't have chosen such a advanced kit to start with. I should have started with something like the Ochre Albatross or something like that, but I didn't, and this is what I built. And overall it's not terrible. There's plenty of things that didn't come out perfectly, and that's mainly due to a lack of knowledge, experience, and particularly in the early days, a lack of patience, which is something that I've learnt since then. So as far as the kit goes, the quality control at Artesania can't be great, because I was missing 14 pieces all up through the course of the build. They were very good. Each time that I was missing a piece, they sent it to me straight away, and it arrived here within a couple of weeks each time, so I can't complain about the actual sales, after sales service anyway. The instructions were all on CD, so there were 380 pages of photos of the instructions. When it came to actually building the ship, the instructions were fine. I didn't have a problem understanding them or knowing how to go about what had to be done. Where they fell down was when you got to the rigging. The photos were terrible. You couldn't see where things attached, how things were tied. Yeah, as I said, they were not good at all. The quality of the parts, not terrible, except for the dead eyes. They were laser cut. I threw those out straight away and ended up buying Craft dead eyes and pulleys and blocks to replace those in the kit, because they were literally terrible. But other than that, I'd recommend buying the kit. I think you can end up with a really nice ship out of it in the end. I've seen other people that have made it, and it is magnificent. And as I said, this is my first ship. I can see every fault in this, but overall I'm pretty proud of how it came out in the end. And as with any hobby, the idea is to improve on the next one you make. So that's my goal with the HMS Victory at the moment, make sure it comes out better than this one. So I'll grab the camera off its mount and we'll have a bit of a closer look. Start at the stern and work our way forward. Heaps of decorations and metal parts that had to be added onto here, which we painted gold and added. Everything fit together quite well. There was a couple of bits that had to be filled where things joined, just to make sure it was nice and flush. But overall that doesn't look too bad. It was certainly interesting painting all of this. Can't say I really enjoy making rudders. I had a lot of trouble with that, but in the end, even that doesn't look too bad. My biggest downfall with this ship were the gun ports. As you can see, they're not exactly consistent, and that is something that on the Craft kit I have really improved. They are coming out really well so far. The gun port lids I think are alright, but it's pretty poor material they get you to make it out of. It's 0.5mm wood, so it's very difficult to do anything to it without breaking it. Basically, far as the rigging goes, that was a experience, having never done it. By the end of it, I was finding rat lines or rope ladders quite easy in the end, and then a lot of the ropes came out not too bad. Some of them are a little bit loose, and that's what I've got to work out for the next one, how to maybe make the sails sit out further or hold a shape so that the ropes stay nice and tight. Also, the tying onto the pin racks wasn't fantastic, but one thing I've found since doing this ship, I looked on YouTube, and there's an excellent channel called Curtis Wooden Shipyard. He shows all the proper way of doing the rigging and tying the knots and that sort of thing. It's absolutely brilliant to watch, and I'll be using a lot of that on Victory. Another channel, Wolfgang Zinn, also is very good at rigging. In fact, he's very good at everything basically. So I'll put a link to both those channels, and also some other channels that assisted me through the process. But as I said, overall I don't think the rigging's terrible. Naturally it can be improved, but and I will. I didn't like the ropes that came with this kit. They were basically just cotton. On the Coldcraft kit I'm going to use Amati ropes. There's actually a little bit of dust on here. It's been sitting in the shed for over 2 years, so I tried cleaning it up. I'll have to give it a better go over when I move it into the house. But yeah, the lifeboats I thought came out quite well. The cannons are not rigged properly because I really wasn't aware of what I was doing, and the instructions don't show you how to rig them properly. I know there's supposed to be breech lines and all sorts of things, but that's something that I will do on the Victory when I get to it. But yeah, as I said, overall I'm pretty happy with how it came out, particularly the anchors. They were very plain in the instructions, and I did a bit of work on them to improve them. As I said, I became a bit more adventurous the further I got into the build. So even that's not correct how the ropes were done on the ships, and I've seen pictures of how Victory's anchors are tied, so I'll be using that as well. Again, as I said, a little bit loose, mainly because of the sails not being held out correctly. I think that front deck there doesn't look too bad at all, and the bowsprit. There's certainly a lot involved in building one of these ships. After 40 years of building plastic kits, I've got to say I never ever had the satisfaction with finishing one of those that I have with finishing this type of kit. It's on a whole new level, and I think that's what's got me completely addicted to wooden shipbuilding now. I've probably got about 20 plastic kits sitting there, and I may never get to them. But yeah, overall not too bad. So I'd like to thank everyone that joined me for the journey. I know the early videos in particular were not particularly good. They improved as I got better cameras and audio equipment, etc. But so hopefully you'll continue to stay with me and watch the HMS Victory build as I progress through that. No doubt that will be another long series, and I look forward to sharing it with you. So thanks for joining me, and see you next time. Cheers.